It's been a couple years since I've done a top 5 AR-15 alternatives video, and there's been some new platforms out there that have come out. I've gotten more trigger time with other platforms, so I think it's about time for a little bit of an update here. Is there anything wrong with the AR-15? Not to me. They're better designs, but they all have their pros and their cons. The AR-15 is a pretty damn good gun. There's over 20 million of them in the US by many estimates. On top of that, they've been produced in such massive quantities that you can now buy a serviceable AR-15 from PSA for around $400, which is nuts. Look, if any of the other guns on this list had 20 million copies distributed throughout the United States and we could buy them for $400, we'd be singing a different tune. But in the meantime, it's popular, it's cheap, the AR-15 is king. Let's talk about the Squires. Number 5, kind of going in an antithetical direction here, but this is a very important rifle. Invented 75 years ago to be inexpensive to manufacture, designed to be so simple and durable that even the untrained and poorly disciplined conscript could use it. Today, this rifle is found in the US, primarily in the hands of collectors and mentally disabled enthusiasts who post on AK files. Yes, talking about the AK-47. To keep things on point here, only going to talk about 223 or 5.56. By the way, like it'd be kind of silly if I said number 5, the Barrett 50 cal is a great alternative to the AR-15. We're looking at guns in the same caliber doing the same work, the same role as the AR-15. The AK-47 does it, not as good, but it does it. I have to admit, I got a few. I'm one of those mental invalids who owns multiple AKs. The advantages of the AK, that rugged durability, that long stroke piston operating system, famously reliable. Like many guns on this list, it doesn't require a buffer tube like the AR-15, so you can use your chopper with a folding stock if you want to, or no stock at all. But it is heavier, they're generally more expensive, generally less accurate, although they're more precise than many of you believe them to be. They don't have near the modularity of the AR-15, the ability to quickly swap calibers like an AR-15, or mount accessories or optics. Frankly, that sucks dick compared to the AR-15. If you think otherwise, then you're living in denial, but that's cool because we all cope one way or another. And the thing is, you got something that makes you happy. And look at you, my special guy, my special little AK-47 guy you are. AKs are rad. They probably put more dicks in the dirt than any other firearm ever made, and they're fun as hell to shoot, probably because of that additional weight in the AK. 5.56 light recoiling. It's a dream out of an AK with a properly tuned gas system. I'd steer you towards, on the lower end of the budget, Zastava M90. Zasti takes great care to keep their guns 922R compliant. They import them, but they don't touch any of the internal parts, therefore ensuring that their AKs are as close as humanly possible to what you get right off the assembly line in Serbia, which I have seen, by the way. Last I checked, these were about $1,200. I think that's a great deal if they're still priced that way. If you got a little bit more money, one of my most favorite guns that I own is a custom-built 5.56 from the masters at Rifle Dynamics. These guns, hand-assembled, broken down, refinished, reassembled, zeroed, tuned to the suppressor of your choice at Rifle Dynamics in Vegas by a technician. It's easy to run up a $3,000 bill on one of these, but in my opinion, well worth it. Number 4, controversy slot, and it is controversial because I'm pulling out my pups for number 4. Guys, we're living in the golden age of bullpupdom. We can get at least 3 military-grade bullpups at reasonable prices in the U.S. right now as we sit here today. I've got a Micro Tavor 13-inch, which is one of my most favorite guns in the world. I've got the HS product VHS-2, imported as the Springfield Hellion, and it's one of the most accurate service rifles that I've ever tested on TFB TV. But for me, in the past couple of years, the AUG has started surging ahead of the pack. The AUG's already a great gun, always liked it. Easy to change barrels, easy to change calibers, easy to change configurations, simple to work on, adjustable gas, lightweight, compact, plenty of parts and accessories, military grade, not to mention the star of the greatest Christmas movie of all time, Home Alone. Just kidding, it's Die Hard. Still sees widespread service. Off the top of my head, if I had to guess, I would say this is the most widely issued pup of all time. I ran a video several years ago where we talked about the AUG kicking the shit out of the M16A2 in Australia's military trials, and while the results of that test were controversial, the point is, this is a great battle-tested and proven firearm. On top of that, Steyr USA's really hit the top of its game in the past couple of years. We went from just getting AUGs and Steyr pistols for years to now getting heavy barrel kits, then the 9mm conversion, then the 300 blackout conversion, and now we've got the next generation, the Steyr A3M2, which adds a quick detach free-floating handguard, solving some of the modularity issues that people complained about with the AUG over the years. Accuracy, outstanding from these guns, as is their durability and reliability using the short stroke piston operating system found in most reliable and accurate next-gen guns like, say, the HK416. Indeed, 3 of the guns on this list are short stroke piston designs, but not the next one. Number 3, be still my heart, the Ruger Mini 14. For some reason, there are people who don't like the Mini 14. Can you believe that? But those are the same types of guys who wait in line for autographs at SHOT Show or wear condoms. My experience over the years with the Mini has been stellar. I have reviewed and currently own the Mini 14 in 3 calibers, 7.62 39, 300 blackout, 5.56. It's easy to shoot. It's very handy. Plenty of accessories available. Factory trigger, absolutely amazing out of the box. The 300 blackout version suppresses well. They all suppress really well, actually. And I've shown time and time again that the modernized Mini 14 has been accurized if you have a serial number that starts with 580 or later. Basically, any Mini 14 made in the past 10 or 15 years, you should be able to squeeze out reasonably tight groups with this gun, sub 2 inches at 100 yards with just off-the-shelf ammo. Now, there are some downsides. Optics mounting, pain in the ass, just like the gun it was based on, the M14. Hot take here, but as someone who's owned multiple M14s and multiple Mini 14s, I think the Mini's a better gun. Sure, the Mini 14, not nearly as modular as the AR-15, but what is, and unfortunately for some reason, Mini 14s cost an arm and a leg. I think this is the cheapest gun on this list because you can get them for under $1,000. I don't think I've mentioned a gun yet that cost under $1,000 unless, say, you got like a 5.56 AK from PSA or something. So I guess this is a decent deal for a non-AR-15, but one of the biggest advantages I've talked about multiple times, and deservedly so, very interesting study performed several years ago where a series of mock trials took place, all with the same facts, all using jurors from the same general jury pool in Texas. In some of the trials, a homeowner shoots a home intruder with an AR-15 in a questionable self-defense scenario. In other trials, everything's the same, but the homeowner uses a Mini 14. Watch the full video on my personal channel about the results of that study, but I think all things being equal, just using the Mini 14 instead of the AR-15 made someone like 50% less likely to be convicted. So I guess passive perk of the Mini 14, -20 lawsuit liability. Being serious for a second here, I've strongly considered keeping the Mini under the bed instead of my AR-15 based on the results of this study, not joking in the least. It's perfectly capable inside the home, handy to use, doesn't appear as intimidating or scary to a jury. Give one a try. I can almost guarantee you'll love it. Number 2, and this one's really tough between number 2 and number 1, but we just kind of look at where these guns are in their developmental cycle, and right now the edge goes to the number 1 gun on the list, but the number 2 is the CZ Bren series of rifles. I only first got my hands on the Bren 2 a year or 2 ago, really for the first time when I was visiting the CZ factory. Got to shoot the hell out of it too. Got to preview the Bren 3 while I was there. That's going to be out soon. Many of you watched the video where we actually ran a round of 300 blackout through a 5.56 Bren, shot it, loaded up a magazine of 5.56, and continued firing the same gun we just shot 300 blackout through. We subjected it to a brutal torture test. The only thing that could stop it was super thick mud that got inside the action. These guns are reliable short strokes. They're modular, accurate, easy to shoot. With the designated marksman rifle version of the Bren 2, the PPS, I shot a sub-MOA group with off-the-shelf S&B service ammo. On top of that, I competed in CZ's competition, Czech Combat, using a Bren 2, perhaps only the second or third time that I had ever shot a Bren. But I ended up being in the top 5 in a couple of the stages out of 150 competitors with it, and I finished 3rd overall. What stops the Bren from being number 1 is, first of all, the number 1's really good. Second, unfortunately, CZ's hit a lot of bumps in the road trying to get CZ USA to function as well as CZ. You just don't have the same level of support in the US yet, and on top of that, the Bren 2's been out for a little while. The Bren 3, not quite here yet. So the 2's a little bit behind the curve in the developmental cycle compared to its peers, especially considering the number 1, which is going to piss everyone off, which is the Sig MCX. I'm looking at mine right now, that beautiful, beautiful baby. I'm going to go grab it. I'll be right back. Oh yeah, babe, that's more like it. Compared to the Bren 2, the MCX evolved faster than the iPhone. Sig Sauer is unapologetic about this. I spoke with Ron Cohen, the CEO of Sig Sauer, Ron says that SIG's going to continue to evolve and advance all of its platforms as rapidly as possible, especially for the MCX, because the MCX is the rifle of choice for the elite military units of the world. I've got 3 generations of the MCX myself. I've got the original Rattler, I've got a clone of the SIG RSAR or Reduced Signature Assault Rifle in use by SOCOM, and now I've got the brand new SIG Rattler LT, one of the best guns I've ever tested on TFB TV. IMO. In terms of modularity, nothing else on this list comes close to the MCX LT. Finally, the MCX LT is fully parts interchangeable with all other MCX LTs. You can swap barrels, calibers, uppers, lowers, gas valves, handguards, virtually everything at the operator level too. You've got a high and low gas setting, easily accessible right here from a front paddle. SIG makes a host of gas plugs that you can change out yourself. You can fine tune for suppressed and unsuppressed use based on the ammo and the suppressor that you're using. These guns are allegedly just as accurate as the most precise AR-15s while being even more durable and reliable. You have the ability to mount just about any type of stock that you want, any accessory you want, build it up, break it down, start all over again. These guns are expensive, but in my opinion, worth every penny. I always say that reviewing guns for over a decade, probably like being a Playboy photographer. At a certain point, tits are tits and guns are guns. But when I own multiple copies of a single gun, you know I'm putting my money where my mouth is, almost literally. To that point, I own 3 5.56 AKs, 2 Steyr AUGs, 3 Mini 14s, and 4 MCXs. The only gun I don't own on this list is the Bren, but by the time I figured out how much I liked the Bren 2, I knew the Bren 3 was nearing the end of its cycle and easing into production. You bet your ass, and I'm going to be one of the first people in the US to have one, I hope. CZ, I hope you're watching this. Think about me, boys. Anyways, what I'm trying to explain to you is that these are my top 5 picks for AR-15 alternatives. AR-15, still my go-to, still my favorite. But goddamn, all these guns really give our boy Gene Stoner a run for his money. Speaking of money, we need it from you. I didn't accept any money from SIG or CZ or anybody else on this list to make this video. We rely on you, our viewers. Please go to subscribestar.com/TFBTV. Think about supporting us. We give away thousands of dollars of gift certificates to Top Gun Supply and Blue Alpha every single month. So please, head over there, think about supporting us so we can stay independent and we don't have to do pay-for-play reviews. Anyways, guys, thanks again for watching. Take care.